Get ready for spine-tingling dread as we dive into 10 creepy true horror stories. In the dark corners of our world, truth is often more terrifying than fiction. Subscribe now and join us on a journey through the unknown. Story 1: Shadows of the Forgotten. A dilapidated mansion stood silent under the cloak of night, its once grand facade now a decaying relic of opulence. The moon's pale glow filtered through shattered windows, casting fragmented beams across the worn floorboards of the séance chamber. 6 eager souls, bound by curiosity and a thirst for the supernatural, gathered around an antique Ouija board, their faces etched with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. The séance began with a solemn incantation, the participants invoking the spirits that supposedly roamed the desolate halls. The room quivered with an otherworldly energy, and the planchette on the Ouija board glided with a life of its own. The air grew dense, and a mournful voice emerged, a spirit claiming to be a wronged servant, betrayed and forsaken in life. As the séance unfolded, shadows began to dance along the walls, morphing into ghostly figures that replayed scenes of a tragic past. The spirit narrated a tale of deceit, greed, and heartbreak, weaving a narrative that echoed through the haunted mansion. A spectral drama unfolded before the participants' eyes, each revelation more unsettling than the last. Suddenly, a chilling gust extinguished the candles, plunging the room into darkness. Panic set in as the group groped for matches, their frantic whispers punctuated by the unsettling laughter of unseen entities. The struggle to relight the candles became a desperate battle against the encroaching shadows. In the flickering candlelight, the group discovered the room now occupied by the apparitions of the mansion's tragic history. Faces contorted in agony, eyes pleading for release from the shackles of the past. The chilling realization dawned: the mansion held not just memories but imprisoned spirits, eternally replaying their final moments. The séance had not only summoned the spirits but unraveled a tale of betrayal and anguish that bound the souls to the decaying mansion. As the participants recoiled in horror, the ghostly figures advanced, their spectral hands reaching out in a desperate plea for redemption. The séance had opened a portal to the past, intertwining the living and the dead in a dance of despair that echoed through the haunted halls for eternity. The participants, their faces ashen and their eyes widening with terror, realized they were entangled in a spectral nightmare. The room echoed with the anguished wails of the betrayed spirits, and the once inviting atmosphere of the mansion turned into a suffocating vortex of sorrow. Attempting to flee, the group stumbled through the darkness, the chilling laughter of unseen phantoms trailing behind them. The air grew colder, and the walls seemed to close in, as if the very mansion sought to imprison them within its tragic history. A sudden gust slammed the door shut, sealing their fate within the haunted confines. Desperation etched across their faces, the participants pressed on, guided by the flickering light of their candles. Unearthly whispers persisted, weaving a narrative that transcended the boundary between the corporeal and the supernatural. In the spectral glow, they stumbled upon a hidden chamber adorned with portraits frozen in time, depictions of the mansion's former residents, their faces distorted by malice and despair. The air thickened with a palpable malevolence as the participants realized the ghosts of the past were not confined to the séance chamber. As the group pressed forward, the shadows deepened, coalescing into a formless mass that oozed with spectral energy. The temperature plummeted, and the very walls seemed to weep with the anguish of the forgotten souls. The séance had unleashed forces that defied the laws of both the living and the dead. In a final, spine-chilling revelation, the group reached the mansion's heart, a room veiled in perpetual darkness. At its center stood a ghastly figure, the spectral servant, whose tale had unraveled through the séance. Eyes hollow and voice laden with sorrow, the spirit beckoned them closer, revealing the true horror that bound them to the mansion. In a shocking twist, the participants realized that, by unraveling the tragic history, they had become conduits for the spirit's anguish. The walls of the mansion itself had absorbed their essence, intertwining the living and the dead in a macabre dance of perpetual suffering. The séance, intended to communicate with the spirits, had unwittingly bound the participants to the haunted mansion, ensuring their souls bore witness to the eternal torment within its decaying walls. As the realization set in, the room convulsed with the echoes of 1,000 mournful cries. The séance had not only unveiled a chilling chronicle of haunted history but also ensnared the living in a spectral tapestry, their fates forever entwined with the mansion's tragic past. The once curious investigators were now condemned to relive the horrors of that night for all eternity, forever trapped in the shadows of the forgotten. Story 2: The Whispering Gallery. The cathedral, an ancient monolith of stone and stained glass, stood silent under the shroud of night. Its towering spires reached toward the heavens, seemingly touching the stars. Within its hallowed halls, a group of investigators, drawn by whispers of spectral echoes, embarked on a séance to unlock the secrets woven into the very fabric of the sacred space. Lit only by the flickering flame of candlelight, the investigators encircled an ornate table laden with relics of forgotten rituals. The air grew charged with an otherworldly energy as they invoked the spirits that lingered within the cathedral's vast expanse. The temperature dropped, and the echoes of their incantations resonated through the towering arches. As the séance unfolded, a ghostly voice emerged, a sorrowful recounting of forbidden love and treachery that stained the cathedral's history. Shadows danced across the vaulted ceilings, casting ethereal images of a bygone era. The investigators, captivated by the spectral narrative, found themselves transported through time, witnessing the tragic events that had unfolded within the sacred walls. The cathedral, an ancient monolith of stone and stained glass, the echoes grew out under the shroud of night, transforming into a haunting chorus its that reverberated through the hallowed toward the heavens, seemingly touching the stars. The investigators, the cathedral itself had become a resonant chamber, amplifying the voices of the tormented spirits seeking release from the shackles to unlock the secrets woven into the very fabric of the sacred space. Against the back of one investigator, only by the flickering shivers down their spine. The investigators encircled an ornate table laden with relics of the macabre as unseen entities manifested in the charged with an otherworldly energy as they invoked the figures that lingered in the shadows of the cathedral's history, reached out with spectral hands. The temperature dropped, their touch echoes of their incantations resonated through the towering arches. As the séance reached its zenith, a ghostly voice emerged, a sorrowful recounting of forbidden love and treachery that stained the cathedral's history. Now caught in a spectral maelstrom, across the vaulted ceilings, surrounded by ghostly ethereal images of a bygone era, a moment of anguish. The investigators, the haunting revelation by the spectral narrative, cathedral had become a whispering gallery through time, a cosmic echo chamber, the tragic events that had unfolded within the sacred and abandoned. Yet, in a bone-chilling whispered revelation, the investigators discovered that the very act of invoking the spirits had reverberated through the tortured souls of the cathedral. Unbeknownst to the investigators, the spectral figures, the cathedral once confined to the become a resonant chamber, amplifying the voices of the tormented spirits seeking release from the shackles of the past. The séance had not only breached the veil between worlds, but bound the investigators to an eternity of shivers down their whispers of the cathedral's tragic history. Once serene, became a theater of the macabre as unseen investigators became mere echoes in the spectral chorus, condemned to wander the hallowed halls in the shadows of the cathedral's history, reached out with spectral hands, intended to unlock the secrets of the past, had ensnared the living in a haunting symphony. As the séance reached forever entwined with the ghostly whispers that echoed through the sacred distorting reality itself. The cathedral, once a beacon of divine serenity, now caught in a spectral maelstrom, with the eternal sorrow of those betrayed and ghostly apparitions. Each one reliving a moment of anguish, their breath visible in the frigid air. The haunting revelation paralyzed, and the cathedral had become a whispering gallery, a cosmic echo chamber, architecture now seemed to loom over them like a silent witness to their entrapment. In a bone-chilling twist, the haunting chorus of tormented spirits discovered that the very act of invoking the very stones of the cathedral were imbued with the grief of the cathedral. Desperation etched across their faces. Once confined to the shadows, sought an escape from the spectral living conduits, unwittingly every step they took resonated with the ghostly footsteps of the betrayed. Had not only breached the veil between worlds, cast elongated shadows that danced in eternity of sharing with the haunting whispers of the cathedral's tragic history. As they navigated the labyrinthine corridors, as the chilling truth settled in, the investigators became mere echoes in the spectral chorus. Condemned to wander the seemed to breathe with a life of their own, the cathedral's stone surfaces pulsating with the residual pain of the forsaken. To unlock the secrets of the past, the air became thick with a suffocating haunting symphony, and unseen hands were seen to guide the investigators deeper into the heart of the spectral maze. The cathedral, in a moment of chilling revelation, they stumbled upon a hidden chamber with the eternal sorrow of those betrayed and the cathedral's darkest secrets. The investigators, paintings adorned the walls, visible in the frigid air, moments of betrayal and tragedy and strokes of ghostly luminescence. The once grand architecture now seemed to loom over them like a silent witness to their entrapment. Spirits had been woven into the haunting chorus of tormented spirits echoed relentlessly. The investigators gazed upon the stones of the cathedral were imbued with the grief of a malevolent force. Desperation, the haunting chorus intensified. The investigators themselves seemed to come alive. Onslaught. The eyes of the forsaken they took resonated with the ghostly tortured faces contorted in the flickering candlelight cast elongated shadows that danced in now ensnared in a living nightmare. Realized that the cathedral's very soul had absorbed their essence, the cathedral's architecture with the tragic narrative, defying the laws of the physical realm. In a final, bone-chilling twist, the walls seemed to breathe with the life of their own, spectral stone surfaces pulsating within the residual pain of the forsaken. The cathedral's haunting history. The air became thick with a suffocating presence, joined the silent chorus, seemed to guide the investigators deeper into the heart of the spectral maze. The séance, in a moment of chilling revelation, the secrets of the past, upon a hidden chamber, transcended the boundaries of the living and the cathedral's darkest secrets, the investigators in a timeless purgatory within the cathedral's moments of betrayal and tragedy and strokes of ghostly investigators' cries faded into the haunting chorus with the energy of the past, stood silent as if the very essence of the spirits had been woven into the fabric of the artwork. The séance had not only gazed at the whispers of the tapestry, but had bound the living to an eternity of sharing the spectral lament of the forsaken chorus intensified, timeless and the paintings themselves seemed to come alive. The once sacred space now echoed with the eternal sorrow of souls their every move, a haunting symphony, tortured faces contorted to the consequences of unlocking the spectral secrets within its now ensnared in a living nightmare. Realized that the cathedral's very soul had absorbed their essence. Within the grandeur of an old man, their face with the tragic narrative within a chamber adorned with faded tapestries. In antique the investigators became spectral echoes of the room was a grand mirror within the paintings that depicted the cathedral's haunting spirit world. Their tormented faces joined the silent chorus, chilled air, forever gathered around the mirror gallery, their faces reflected in its age-stained glass. Intended to uncover the secrets of the past, the room resonated within the boundaries of the living and the participants channeled their collective energy to invoke the timeless purgatory within the cathedral's spectral walls. The air crackled with anticipation as the last echoes of the investigators' cries faded into the haunting chorus. The cathedral stood figure materialized within the reflective surface, an anguished woman with hollow eyes, seeking justice had not only unlocked the whispers of the past, the séance unraveled a tale of forbidden love, the spectral lament of the forsaken within the cathedral's timeless embrace. The spectral woman, the once sacred space, now recounted the tragic events that had transpired within the manor's walls, a chilling testament to the consequences of unlocking the spectral secrets were drawn deeper into the ethereal narrative, captivated by the spectral drama that unfolded before their eyes. In a mesmerizing display, the room transformed. The participants found themselves surrounded by opulent furnishings of a bygone era, witnesses to the haunting scenes of the past. The mirror became a gateway to the spectral plane, bridging the gap between the living and the dead. As the séance reached its zenith, a cold hand brushed against the back of one participant. The room echoed with their collective gasps as the air thickened with a palpable sense of foreboding. The mirror's surface rippled like a liquid pool of darkness, distorting the reflection of the room and its occupants. In a bone-chilling twist, the participants discovered that the mirror had ensnared their souls, binding them to the spectral woman's quest for justice. The room they stood in was no longer a mere reflection of the past, it had become a twisted intersection of timelines, where the living and the dead coexisted in a surreal dance of fate. The revelation struck with an unsettling force. The séance had not only summoned the spirit seeking justice but had entwined the participants with her tragic destiny. Their reflections in the mirror were now gateways to the spectral plane, and the participants found themselves navigating a haunting labyrinth of memories and unfinished business. As the séance concluded, the participants, now vessels for the unresolved spirits, gazed into the mirror. Their own eyes reflected back at them, haunted by the sorrow and anguish of the spectral woman. The room returned to its dilapidated state, the grandeur of the past fading away. In a final, spine-chilling moment, the mirror whispered its judgment. The participants, once the living seekers of the supernatural, were now bound to the manor, forever reliving the echoes of betrayal and seeking justice for a crime that transcended the boundaries of time. The séance had transformed them into guardians of the spectral realm, their existence forever entwined with the mirror's reflection and the tragic legacy it held within its enchanted glass. The room, once a haven for séance enthusiasts, now bears witness to a chilling transformation. The participants, their eyes reflecting the haunted souls within the mirror, stood in silent communion with the spectral woman's quest for justice. The air, thick with the weight of unresolved grievances, seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy. As the participants explored their newfound existence, the manor's spectral history unfolded before them. They walked through memories suspended in time, reliving moments of passion, betrayal, and tragedy. The mirror, an omnipresent witness to the unfolding drama, served as a portal between the living and the spectral plane. In this twisted realm, the participants discovered their ability to manipulate the echoes of the past. With a mere touch of the mirror, they could alter the course of events, yet each change rippled through the tapestry of time, creating unforeseen consequences. The spectral woman's gaze, once hollow and tormented, now held a glimmer of hope as the participants sought to right the wrongs that had bound her to the manor. However, with each attempt to rewrite the tragic narrative, the room convulsed with an otherworldly force. The mirror, now a conduit between diverging timelines, reflected not only the participants' actions but also the inexorable march of fate. The manor, a nexus of spectral energy, resisted the intrusion of mortal hands, attempting to reshape the course of its haunted history. In a bone-chilling realization, the participants understood that their existence had become a paradox, a blend of the living and the spectral, bound to the mirror's enchanted reflection. The séance, intended to bridge the gap between worlds, had transcended the boundaries of the supernatural, intertwining the participants with the unresolved spirits of the manor. As the participants delved deeper into the spectral labyrinth, the mirror revealed fragments of the spectral woman's past, each layer of revelation adding complexity to the tale of betrayal and injustice. The once curious seekers of the supernatural had become reluctant guardians of a tragic legacy, forever tethered to the manor's haunted echoes. In a climactic moment, as the participants attempted one final alteration to the timeline, the mirror resisted. The room quivered with an unsettling force, and the mirror's surface rippled with a dark energy that defied manipulation. The spectral woman's gaze, now resigned to her fate, communicated a silent plea for release from the cyclical torment. With a deafening shatter, the mirror fractured into a myriad of reflective shards. The participants, caught in the maelstrom of spectral energy, felt themselves drawn into the fractured reflections of the past. The room, now devoid of the mirror's enchantment, returned to its dilapidated state, as if exhaling a sigh of relief. In the aftermath, the participants found themselves scattered across the spectral remnants of the manor's history. Each shard of the broken mirror held a fragment of their essence, forever entwined with the echoes of betrayal and justice denied. The séance, intended to unlock the secrets of the spectral realm, had transformed the participants into ephemeral guardians, condemned to drift through the fragmented reflections of the past for all eternity. The room stood in silence, the grandeur of the manor now a melancholic testament to the consequences of meddling with the haunted echoes within its walls. Story 4: The Cursed Manuscript. In the dim recesses of an ancient library, the séance unfolded, but with a peculiar twist. The participants gathered around an oak table, illuminated by the flickering glow of candles, with an ominous manuscript as the focal point. This aged document, bound in human skin and adorned with cryptic symbols, held the promise of unlocking forbidden knowledge from the abyss. As the séance commenced, the participants delved into the incantations inscribed within the cursed manuscript. The air thickened with an unholy energy, and the candles flickered as if acknowledging the ancient power at play. The atmosphere grew charged, and a ghastly figure materialized, a spectral librarian, guardian of the forbidden knowledge contained within the accursed pages. The séance unfolded like a dark symphony, with the participants' voices blending with the whispers emanating from the manuscript. The spectral librarian, a gaunt figure draped in tattered robes, revealed tales of dark rituals and the pursuit of power that defied mortal comprehension. The participants, drawn into the otherworldly narrative, were ensnared by the seductive promises woven into the manuscript's malevolent pages. As the séance reached its zenith, the room plunged into darkness. The participants, now guided by the spectral librarian, found themselves transported to a shadowy realm where the boundaries between the living and the occult blurred. Sinister whispers echoed through the void, promising untold secrets in exchange for their unwavering devotion. In a chilling twist, the participants realized that every word uttered during the séance had inscribed itself onto their very souls. The cursed manuscript, a conduit to the forbidden, had forged an unholy covenant with the living, sealing their fate in an occult pact. The spectral librarian's malevolent laughter resonated as the participants grappled with the horrifying truth: they had become vessels for the malevolent spirits trapped within the cursed pages. The room transformed into a surreal amalgamation of the physical and supernatural. Occult symbols flickered in the air, and the participants' shadows seemed to dance with unseen entities. The spectral librarian, now a puppet master of the arcane, guided the participants through a ghastly ritual that bound their souls to the manuscript's dark legacy. As the séance concluded, the participants, their faces etched with terror, were left to contemplate the ghastly reality. They had become living conduits for the malevolent spirits imprisoned within the cursed manuscript. The room, once a sanctuary of knowledge, now pulsed with a malevolent energy, the very air saturated with the whispers of the damned. In a final, bone-chilling revelation, the spectral librarian vanished, leaving the participants alone with the cursed manuscript. The forbidden knowledge within its pages now fused with their very essence, and the room seemed to absorb their moral identities. The séance had not only summoned the spirits but had bound the living to an eternity of servitude in the shadowy realms of the occult. The participants, once seekers of the supernatural, were now ensnared in a macabre dance with the spirits, their souls forever tethered to the cursed manuscript's insidious power. The room, now a nexus of forbidden energy, pulsed with an eerie luminescence. The participants, their faces contorted with a mixture of horror and resignation, found themselves caught in the web of the occult pact they had unwittingly forged. The cursed manuscript, an artifact that bridged the realms of the living and the supernatural, seemed to exude malevolent satisfaction. As the spectral librarian's laughter echoed into the abyss, the room twisted into a surreal manifestation of occult symbology. Runes glowed ominously on the walls, and the air hummed with the discordant harmonies of unseen entities. The participants, their very souls etched with the secrets of the manuscript, were now conduits for the eldritch forces that lurked within the cursed pages. In a ghastly transformation, the participants became vessels for the spirits, their eyes reflecting an otherworldly knowledge that transcended mortal understanding. The spectral librarian reappeared, now a shadowy orchestrator of the occult, guiding the participants through a haunting ritual. The room pulsed with dark energy as the manuscript's secrets unraveled before them. As the séance unfolded, the participants were compelled to perform grotesque rites, their movements synchronized with the eldritch forces that permeated the room. Candles flickered in response to the spectral librarian's commands, and the air became charged with an unholy electricity. The boundary between the living and the supernatural blurred, and the participants' consciousness melded with the malevolent spirits imprisoned within the cursed manuscript. In a bone-chilling twist, the participants realized that their mortal identities were slipping away. The manuscript's cursed knowledge, now an integral part of their being, consumed their individuality. The room became a vortex of spectral energies, and the participants felt themselves drawn deeper into the eldritch abyss. As the séance reached its climax, the cursed manuscript levitated, suspended in the air like a dark celestial body. The participants, now mere vessels for the spirits, surrounded the hovering artifact, their voices merging with the ethereal chorus that echoed through the occult realms. In a final, haunting moment, the manuscript unleashed a surge of forbidden power. The room convulsed with a cataclysmic force, and the participants' souls were irrevocably bound to the eldritch tapestry of the supernatural. The spectral librarian, now an insidious puppet master, reveled in the culmination of the séance. The living had become eternal conduits for the cursed knowledge, forever tethered to the occult forces that pulsed within the manuscript. As the séance concluded, the room returned to an eerie stillness, the cursed manuscript resting on the table as if sated by the souls it had ensnared. The spectral librarian, having fulfilled its malevolent purpose, faded into the shadows. The participants, now transformed into living relics of the occult, stood motionless, their eyes vacant, vessels for the forbidden knowledge that pulsed within their very essence. The séance, intended to unlock the secrets of the supernatural, had not only summoned the spirits but had bound the living to an eternity of servitude. The room, once a sanctuary of knowledge, now echoed with the whispers of the damned, and the cursed manuscript stood as a malevolent testament to the consequences of delving into the forbidden realms that lurk beyond the veil of mortal understanding.